Hey guys, Michelle with Silver Snake Designs, and in today's video I'm going to teach you how to make this bracelet. If you mix these two colors together, you'll have a nice holiday bracelet, but I kind of wanted to do my favorite colors. This is a very simple, beautiful bracelet. It utilizes ladder stitch, and not only can you use rondelles, but you can also use size 8 seed beads. I made a swatch here. Do size 2mm rondelles, even though, or excuse me, 2mm pearls, even though it kind of got a little wonky. And I also tried this in Miyuki. These beads, by the way, all those are Toho. I tried it with Miyuki to see if it was going to be any different, but there's really no difference. I really like this. Like I said, it utilizes ladder stitch. One thing I'm going to teach you though is the tension on this. You kind of want to keep this loose. You don't want it too loose, but you don't want it too tight either. And as we get into it, I will teach you that. So to get into our recipe list, I have my 2 clamshells. You're going to need 2 jump rings, and here one jump ring is already attached to my clasp. You're going to need a clasp. These are gold filled. These are PF 557 Toho brand in the gold color. These are 2x3mm rondelles, and these I believe are Miyuki, but I don't know. But here's the bag that I got from Fusion Beads. They never told you the brand or the item number. So it is a clear AB with a silver line. I think this is Miyuki. It looks like Miyuki, but I don't know. So if you know, great. And that's basically all you'll need to start. So let's jump right into it. Oh yeah, by the way, beading needle and thread, and I use Fireline. There you go. Okay, now let's jump into it. Okay, so I'm going to start off by picking up a size 11 seed bead, a rondelle, 2 size 11 seed beads, a rondelle, and 1 size 11 seed bead. I'm going to bring that all the way down. I like to leave a nice size tail. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the first 3 beads that we put on, which is the seed bead, rondelle, and the seed bead. And this is our ladder stitch. So when we pull, it looks like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our little 15 to the side. So we'll do that by picking up a little 15, and then we'll go through all 3 beads. So we'll go through the 11, the rondelle, and the 11 there. And then we'll just flip it over like that. You'll be doing a lot of flipping over, let me tell you right now. So then we're going to pick up another 15, and this time I only want to go through the 11 and the rondelle, because now we're going to add our clamshell. We're going to pick up an 11, I'm going to pick up a clamshell, and I'm going to hold the clamshell like this. I'm going to come up through the throat and out the mouth of the clamshell. I'm going to pick up an 11, and I'm going to bring those down. And then what I'm going to do is skip over this 11 and then bring my needle back down through the mouth of the clamshell like that. I'll pull. Oops. And if you pull and you can't get it down, that's fine, because what you can do is you can just grab your little clamshell like this and just pull the string until it gets you where you need to be. Okay? So now we're going to pick up an 11, but what we want to do is we want to get our thread and our needle readied. So what we want to do is we want to come back through this side of the rondelle. So because this is coming in from the right, I'm just going to bloop, flip it over like that. So now you can see. So if you see now, we're going to have we're going to pick up the 11, and I want to go through this side of the rondelle, the back side, just like that. Okay, and that way when we pull, you'll have those 2 seed beads on either side of the rondelle, just like that. And that is how we're going to get our clamshell clasp on. We're going to leave that open. We are not going to touch that. We're just going to leave it as is. And we're going to ready ourselves to go to our next row. So I'm going to do that by going through the 11, through the 15 on the side, and then back through the 11, the rondelle, and the 11. Just like that. And this is what we're going to do all the way up. Well, we're not going to be adding the clamshell all the way up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up an 11, a rondelle, an 11. And if you want, flip it over. This is easier for me to do it this way. And then we're going to just go through all 3 of those beads. And we're going to pull. And this is the ladder stitch. Now, you don't want to pull too tightly. Keep it a bit loose. Don't pull and yank too tight, because you want it a little loose. And then we're going to pick up a 15. I'm going to go through all 3 of these beads, the 11, the rondelle, and the 11. I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to pick up a 15. I'm going to go through the more bottom row, the 11, the rondelle, and the 15. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to go up the 15. And that's going to get us into our next row. And then I'm going to go through the 11, the rondelle, and the 11. And this is what I'm going to do all the way up. Okay, you can flip it over as you need to. I like to work it this way. I'm going to pick up an 11, a rondelle, and 11. I'm going to go through those 3 beads again. And to get myself to the next round up, I'm going to pick up the 15. And I'm going to go through the 11, the rondelle, and the 11. So technically what in essence you're doing is you're going like this in a circle and looping out. Okay. And then I'm going to pick up a 15. I'm going to come back down through the bottom row, the 11, rondelle, and the 11. And this is what you're going to do all the way up. Now, as you can see, I am wearing the bracelet that I showed you at the beginning of the video. And this is 55 rondelles. And I have a clasp. As you can see, the clasp is a little bit bigger than what I'm using for this. And that's going to have, it's going to add on your clasp with your clamshells are going to add in like maybe about an inch of thread of give or space. And this itself is 6 inches. So my total bracelet is 7 inches. You may need more, you may need less. But this is what you're going to do all the way up. Now what you want to do too is keep it don't pull too tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit more, and I'm going to show you what I mean by not pulling too tight, and I'll be right back. Okay. So if you're going to pull tight, it's going to start doing like this accordion thing where this may pop up between these 2 beads. And that's what you don't want it to do. You basically just want to keep it loose and keep a space in between the rondelles. Because don't forget too, when you add the 11s in between these 15s, that's also going to help pull the ladder stitch closer together. Okay, so continue doing on the rest of your going on your path, and once you've put on the correct number of rondelles that you need, I will show you how we will add on the clasp. Hi, me again. I just wanted to say too, not only will your beads go weird and wonky like what I showed you, but your beads, if you're pulling too tight, you'll see it'll go kind of like on this arc, and that's not what you want. You kind of want the beads to kind of sit just straight to make it easier to go through. So go through your 15 and to go through your beads. So you kind of want it so a little loose, so that way this top row is as straight as it can be. Okay, so that's really what I mean about keeping your tension loose, but not too loose where the beads are just loose and you can see thread. Okay, so hope that helps. Okay, so now I am coming up my 15 on the side, and just like we did prior, I'm going to come through the 11 and out the rondelle only. Now, I ran out of thread when I was like 3 away. So the best way, and let this be a lesson to us all, I'm exiting this 11 with my thread, and I added on the thread through that 11 and looped around and did what I normally do for the last 3 beads. And the reason why I did it through that 11 is because when I go and tie this, the knot is going to be hidden in there when we bring the 11s, when we go down this side and we put 11s in between the 15s. So I'll go ahead and knot that and snip the thread outside of the video, but I just wanted to show you that as well. So now my thread is exiting the rondelle. I'm going to pick up a size 11. I'm going to pick up my clamshell like we did in the beginning. We'll go up the throat, out the mouth. We'll pick up a size 11. We will skip over it. So like this. We'll come down the throat like that. And now what we're going to do is we'll pick up an 11. Well, let me make sure that this is not twisting, and then let me pull. Make sure your work does not twist as this is doing. There. Now I'm going to pull to get that as close as I can. I'm going to flip this over because I'm right-handed, so I'm going to come from the right. Let me make sure. It looks like I dropped my rondelle, or my, yes I did. Let's pick it up, my little stray 11. I'm going to come through the opposite side of the rondelle, like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up through here. Now, if you don't have enough thread and you made it to the end, I'm going to show you how to knot off your thread. Okay, so you went up and up the throat and out the mouth. And now because you have your little 11 in there, what you can do is take your needle, go through the 11, make a loop, bring your needle through the loop, and pull down. And then this will be good. This is our little rest stop. We'll anchor. We'll make the loop. we'll bring our needle through the loop and anchor. So that's great if you made it that far. If you need to add thread, you can just, you know, take out the thread, you take some thread, tie it to that seed bead in there. And what we're going to do now, well, you know what? Let me tie this off. So this is how, if you can't make it to your rest stop, we'll just tie this. Do that. We will cut it. And then it will be hidden when we add the 11s. Okay, so now we're ready to go down here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to go back through the 11, I'm going to go down the throat, down one of the sides, I'm going to go through that seed bead that we just put on. And now I'm going to cut across the rondelle and out that gold bead that's next to the 15, just prior to the 15. And then I'm going to go out the 15. And then here comes the really, really, really easy part. I'm going to pick up an 11. I'm going to go through the next 15. I'm going to pick up an 11, go through the next 15. A little word of advice. If you're using a thicker needle and you find that you can't get your needles through the 15s and you use tulip needles, use a thinner needle if you can, maybe a size 11 or a 12. And this is all we're just going to do. Keep your tension loose. It's okay right now if it's a little too tight, if you're pulling a little too tight, because we haven't anchored anything down on this side yet. So everything's all good. So go ahead, do that all the way down. And when you get to this 15 here, I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now I'm at my original thread, which I'll show you what to do with that. I went through my last 15. Now, because I have enough thread, I'm going to come up through the rondelle and I'm going to come out here and then come out the 15. But if you don't have enough thread and you need another anchor point and stop at your rest stop up here, you would go through the seed bead, up that seed bead and out the mouth, anchor your thread, add your thread that you're going to need. But because I've got enough thread, I'm just going to cut across the little river here. I got all this thread. And then I'm going to come down here. And what I'm going to do off camera is take our very first original thread and I'll just weave it and then bring it out through the clamshell. So now, let's move that thread out of the way. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Pick up an 11 and go through the next 15. Pick up an 11 and go through the next 15. And then what I'll do is I will come all the way down and I will exit my thread out the opposite side. So you go ahead and do the opposite side too. But first, what I want to tell you before you do that, you can see how my tension was a little tight, so it's kind of curving. Go ahead and pull it, and you can see how it kind of stretched out a bit. And it's okay right now, but once you start getting down a little bit more, it may not hold, you may not be able to do that as well. But if you also want to, and you have plenty of thread, and you do this, you can anchor it down up here as well if you want. And then you continue on your way. Okay, so I am adding on my last 11. I'm going to go through the rondelle. I'm going to go up that seed bead. And then I'm going to go through the back end, up the throat, and out the mouth. Just like that. As you can see, my tension pulled, so what I'm going to do is boop, stretch it out like that. Just do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor this without pulling as much as I can because we don't want to pull that tension tight again. So I'm going to go through the 11. I'm going to pull. But I'm also just going to do this. I'm going to pull as I'm pushing this in. There. A couple more times. There I am. Now what I'm going to do, which I forgot to tell you guys in the beginning, is get some glue. And I'm going to use a toothpick. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one off. I'll be right back. I'm going to go quickly pull that one through there. Okay, so I'm pulling it up. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to go through the seed bead inside there, make a loop, and pull. Oops, make sure that it doesn't get caught on the outside there. I like to do 3 loops. There we are. Go ahead and cut. And now I use Loctite super glue. I'm going to take a little bit on the tip. And I'm just going to add it. Add a little more. I like this gel control because you can squeeze the side and it's very controllable. And I can put a tip on a toothpick and control where I want the glue to go. There we go. So close the one side. Just like that. Add your jump ring or add your clasp to your jump ring and then take the jump ring and just doop. Not that. Do this. Close that. And then we'll add a little glue on this side. Just like that. Close this one up. Add your jump ring. close it up, and we have made our beautiful bracelet. Look how pretty that is. If you have made this, find me on my Facebook page. It's called Silver Snake Design Group Creations. I will have a link to it in the description box. I really want to see the different varieties that you guys have made. So if you're on Facebook, follow me there. Or tag me on Instagram. If you have Instagram, tag me there, Silver Snake Designs. But that's that. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, and subscribe to my channel too, because then you'll be notified when I have lovely more tutorials. So thanks for being here. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.